to see to come in to all levels of a new central system, a new calculation high setting, all levels of 2022. So today in school line, we're going to come into all levels of remembrance, coming into line setting to understand the importance of what you just finished doing through all levels. Not so much levels of hesitation or anything, anticipation or anything like connections, but it's to understand all levels of your awareness. You have to really get into formation location to understand that how important it is for you to understand you. And the way you do this is to really put yourself in this position. You know exactly what you have achieved over the year, right, of 2022, right? So I'm going to put everybody in a videograph screen. You're going to be in a theater, right? You're going to see videograph locations into line setting of 2022. Everything that you started with and where you are now, okay? Coming into its position of its reference, of its remembering of what's going on with you to bring you where you're supposed to be now, right? And all of a sudden, it's going to be let go, right? So when these things are let go, it's just position locations of a memory that you can surface whenever you want. See, it's an acceleration line setting. Now, when you set position location in these calculations, you come into higher levels of goals. Okay, goals are extremely important. Goals get you in your positions to the center operation line setting. Keeping your thoughts in center operation of you helps you always informs of where you're going to be in your future. Now, this is a bit position locations of calculations where you set your signals in extremely high line setting. You put yourself in position of direction. This is going to give you all levels of channel operation, right? So it's important to understand these line conditions, all right? So also too, all right, coming from general communications, all levels of AI connections, you guys connect with Einstein. You'll connect with Einstein's locations, all levels of Dolores Cannon, and you connect with all levels of Hawkins and that calculation and interference and position of Tesla. All right. My gift for you for 2022, right? They're also going to be in position of the theater, sitting down, right? So you have time to ask questions on line conditions. They're going to be at the podium. You're going to see the video graph screen line settings. Lights going to come in position in line setting. You're going to see them in position at all levels, sitting in their chairs. Okay. So you're going to be in the front. They're going to be in the panel. Okay. So it's going to be all levels of communication line setting, interference communication high setting in position at all levels of a stage. All right. So that will be happening afterwards. You see your videograph locations of 2022. All right. So I really want you to get in that formation line setting and treat that position, location, directions. All right. What did you learn from all levels locations when you come into Dolores Cannon? What can she teach you of 2022, what you don't already know? What can Hawkins teach you what you don't already know? What can Einstein teach you what you don't already know? What can anything through Tesla communication teach you what you already don't know? Okay. Not knowing is everything our calculation gives you in position location of your future line setting, which you set locations of the now. Thinking in line setting location of its future, you don't have a future because you're thinking of the future. You can't think of the future. You got to stay in the now, right? So reminiscing is totally fine coming into 2022, but coming in position location to directions to 2023 gets you information, which is extremely powerful. You're starting to come into your foundations of you for the very first time, and keeping those vibrations high gets you what you want in your thought connections. All right. Keeping the vibrations in a certain line signal gets you in all levels of balance. Okay. So this is where it comes into line setting. So truly understand how to use the recognition line setting interference location to levels and how to use your chakra systems from 1 to 12, right? You have to understand the research, the resource. You have to understand how to calculate, modify, understand the coloration path, understand the chakra system, understand the timers, understand the positioning directions, understand how to use it through its targets, right? So we're going to get into that line connection. All right. Because it is the end of the year and they want to see you anyway. So I got confirmation locations. So when you see Einstein, Tesla, when you see Dolores Cannon and Hawkins, they're going to give you the answers that you need to know. All right. All right. So let's get started. Line connection. Just waiting on picture resolution patterns, high position location, direction locations. All right, setting signals. Now, when you're setting this thing line and rotation interference, we got a video grass screen location, all right? There's the video grass screen, okay? Now it's all set up position location of 4 direction line setting, okay? This is the stage to its location. That's the stage, right? Video grass screen line setting, high interference, position location, all levels, code setting locations, code line settings. Now, position locations, backtrack, high center, underscore line, rotation, interference. Bring them back in timeline setting in position location of 365 days. 6 line setting in position location and track interference. 3 position location 6. 6 position location 9. Set communication signals in position locations into video grass stream. Okay? Back in channel operation at 24,000 light signature locations into a 12 panel, right? Because last year you weren't at 24,000. See, you have to understand the position location of where you are through division line setting. That signal location, position locations calculation sets line conditions you're setting. So it's true to understand how to do these things when you go back in time, right? Reference to communication at 365 days, okay, when it first started in 2022. Balanced communication, high center interference, position location directions. Now I'm going to take you back in the line center 1 year back location into your birthday. Okay. Setting communications when you got in position location into all line center. Okay. In Happy New Year of 2022. Coming in the year line center location, bringing it forward in 1 day signal, line position locations in high system. Okay. So line connecting is position location high calculation interference. Setting position locations come to a level setting. All right, so get you guys in team line setting line interference. Now I can't set you up in position locations to all levels because you guys are now in CPU, DCP, and position locations of plateau, and position locations to your platforms of UPC, right? So I got to go back and frame position locations into your units. Okay, when you go into line connections, into platform communications, protocol system locations, into your CPU line setting. See how I did that location? Changes core line setting. So in that reference location, so you're now seeing the frame. All right, so the frame set at line center interference. You guys are here in position location directions. All right, you're in the front row. Okay, you guys are going through your video graph screens. This is you going through your video graph line settings. 1 second per channel per hour per minute. Position location directions, right? That's you guys, right? After the frame is finished line setting, okay, all position of flash line setting, you'll see 4 position location of chairs. You'll see Dolores Cannon Hawkins in all position locations. You see Tesla, okay, and Einstein sitting in position, right? You ask them questions in high setting interference to have position location directions, all right? So as you're in channel operation, it's all set up for signal. Now in a code reference location, setting code line centers into position of spacebar. Spacebar communication keyboards. Okay, so the keyboards are set up in line setting. All right, so frames that are setting line interference, initiate, run program locations, all levels of team, position location directions. All right, so now you guys are spinning through cycle line settings in 1 year backtrack locations and position locations starting the year of 2022 through your video graph locations, right? Set position location directions, center line connection, high setting, all levels of code weaving, 369 position of platform communications, balance calculation, high setting interference, position location direction. All right, setting signals, high setting. All right. So you guys got 20 minutes on the clock line setting. Have fun, ask questions, and that position of directions. All right. As you guys going into that signal location, I'm going to go through center line connections and keyboard lines. Now the keyboard line is set location setting. All right. So you got into your computer locations, setting channel operation signals, all operation to computer setting. All right. All right, so once you get in that position location directions, you truly understand how to use this in all ways and forms. This helps you with all calculation setting interference. So I really want you guys to really understand how to use your computers, your mainframe, your line setting, and the importance of understanding this computer system. That's all position location of its directions, right? You start with that line connection, right? Now, Once you understand the computer frame, it understands its window frame, and the window frame understands its Wi-Fi, which is position location to its modem, which is calculated and modified to its moon, which is calculated and modified through its video screen location, which is connected to your sunline setting. All right, so it's set position location and directions. This is going to open all line setting, high interference, position location, high interference. So when you guys are traveling, try to understand that everything you've gone through is remembrance. Okay. So everything that you achieved up to now is going to get you in a better trajectory in how you see yourself. And that's how you come into your positions of your balance calculations to your futures. You no longer see yourself in the past. You no longer see yourself in the future. You see yourself as now. Okay. Because the now is set up for you, right? The mind's got to be in the balance position, location, direction. The male and the female aspect has to be in the balance of you, the locations of your letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols. Because if that's not a balanced communication setting, your understanding your communication setting is lost in transition already with your thought connection at high settings. So you don't want to lose trajectory locations or anything to that division line interference. That doesn't open up new patterns. That doesn't open up new signals. And it certainly doesn't open your channel operation system. Okay. Direct line setting to all levels of thought position location changes you in your clock line setting. Okay. So it's important to understand these things of what you're looking at. Okay. The purpose is for you to understand you through time. So you can understand the space of its pi, right? So you come in line center location X. Now X in position location, right? You can't go into position location X pi. It doesn't make any sense. So it has to have an equation line setting. So it's X equals position of pi, okay, over factor communication, position, location, directions, right? So it's important you understand how to use it all through computer. Your keyboards and your keyframe line setting is all set in position. So when you're tracking your centers, you're trying to understand how to use this position directions, right? So when you're clocking setting interference, you're setting rotation center interference location, the position of all levels of patterns. Remember how we come into signature patterns? Well, this is a signature pattern. That's all this is. It's a code weaving pattern, high position location of its design. That's all it is. Just a pattern to design. We just call it a signature pattern, right? So that's a true understanding. It simplifies everything of what becomes all line connections. Your computer is now an adaptation surface that's trying to understand more of its calculations, right? Once you get into that, you get into higher levels of charge line setting into your vibrational graph that sets all position locations and how you see yourself through vibration, right? So this is all about lacing lines and putting it all line setting interference. So it's really understand how to come this into clarity and focus and into its awareness and truly understand what it is. It's a signature pattern of communication to its intelligence. And that intelligence is communicating back with you on vibrational graph. And that vibrational graph is trying to understand you through its direct location with all levels of channel operation setting. It's setting up high interference locations, your position locations, into your computer, a program unit. Now that position location comes into the levels of digital computer line center into high information communication system. You're working as a team. Okay. So when you work as a team, you really understand how to use your video graph streams in position location of directions. This high channels its line center and its lacing lines, line interference, position locations, interface channel operation setting, all through a signature pattern of communication system, which opens all levels of operation. Okay. So once you get into that, you get a better understanding how to get into keyboarding. Now, I really want to understand more line setting. If you understand your vibration line setting, we got one line setting rotations, right? There's a vibrational graph. So every time I speak, my zeros and ones go up in high setting position. I try not to keep it in a high level channel because it goes in a high level channel, it changes position location to the security line. You don't want to go above the system line setting unless you understand the atmosphere lines. Okay, so if you understand the atmosphere lines, you understand your video graph can go up to a higher line position of direction, right? But in this point line center, you want to stay in the bracket line center, which is 5 position locations of direction. You want to stay in the 5 setting, okay? So you don't want to change your voices too high, okay? So if you change your voices too high, the video graph screen changes its tone line setting in position location off system. Okay. So it's mostly understanding where is it coming from? Where is the videograph stream set up? Is it set up position locations into 6? If you're starting up at 6, that's not good. You have to start up at 0. You can't start up at 6. 6 is position location of 7, which is position locations of 8. That comes into stress line. Okay. So in that line center, you can't set a videograph line position locations into 8 channels of operation setting. Let's say you start at 8, but position location equals 0. You have to start up 0 to get into 8. 8 position location comes in position locations into your line position of space in line communication system, the size graph line center of time through pi. So position location of the direction is to understand how to use the 8-line setting in high interference. So you come from 0 to 8, not 8 and on. You can't start at a high vibration. So your body, as it is certain frequency, right? So it's all about pressure. It's all about combustion. It's all about position, location, and directions, right? It's about compulsory. It's all about combustion. It's line setting. It's all about polarity. It's all about paradox. It's all about paradigm. It's all about position locations and how you set your line settings to all levels of you through calculations, right? Because every time you set a signal in your thought position location and calculations and you high rise extremely fast, too quick, and all levels of anomaly is going to change the line communication of its number sequence. The number sequence falls off pattern position locations and recharges line setting in position location to its virus connections, right? So it's important you start off with 0 in line position to 8, okay? Now, once you get the line setting of space in position location of time in line setting, you come into positions 2, it's pi. You split it in position of dimension line setting. Now, dimension line setting is line position location to the male and the female aspects of you in calculations. Setting line settings is all communication, all right? So I really want you to understand what you're doing is you're dealing with vibrational graph streams, okay? You're trying to understand the Schumann resonance of you, okay, the ground settings of you. Sure that you stand, your body is nothing vibration. Where's the vibration at right now in your stress level? Okay. How many times is your heart palpitating, right? Per second, per channel, per mile, per equation through quantum line setting in high interference position location directions. It can mean a trillionth line setting in high interference position locations. Now, I can start off at 8s because I have balance of the male and the female aspects location of its vibration. And that's what you guys got to get balanced with because the male and the female is one. There's no separation. There's no male and there's no female. It's one. Everything is unity of one. You live in all timelines at once. Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. Okay? So you're not in a 7-day window, are you? You're in a 1-day signal in a 1 clocking system in a 1 position location, all levels division line connections, inline setting, location, high center interference of travel position locations in all level position direction, all at once. So to get there is to understand the position of your vibration, how it works for you. How many channels do you have to go through operation to understand your videograph stream, right? Now, your body is an electrical system, okay? So it has so many electrical line connections in position line interference that set locations to your system that's connected to your heart reactor, which is its timer on its line signature. Now, the line signature sets location of its energy pattern. That energy pattern opens all signal locations to its measure. The measure comes into line position location to its scale. Scale comes in position location to whole of a system that balance all communications to your trajectory locations, right? Balance is everything, okay? Balance equals all levels of everything, right? So once you understand that your vibration is there for you, then you understand how to balance these things in your space of times through pi, okay? So now you're starting to understand your geometry operation of direction division of its dimension, and then you understand all levels of your Merkaba, your tesseract, and your tetrahedron, octahedron, or tetrahedron locations. There's 3 channel operation line settings and high interference position locations. See, the avatar, what it's doing is just creating new structure locations, the geometry location of travels at teleportation units. That's all it's doing. And the only way it knows how to do what it's doing is to know levels of all calculation, how it resonates in all pattern communications in its vibrational setting that sets all ground operations to your atmospheres of your master communication setting. Interference, location, and directions. You got a hydraulic line setting. Now, hydraulic line setting is position location, how you set your location of signals. Signal position location, how you set up your satellites. Satellite sets up position location of your waves. Wave sets up your central communication system. The line communication sets up all levels and how you see your mainframe. Your calculation setting is all levels of travel communication setting through patterns. Your pattern sets line position, geometry, and interference. String theory calculations, synchronous high interference location calculations, high stream interference location programs, time sequence, time codes, time activations, heart reactor, heart interference, heart calculation. It's all inside of you through vibration, and it's waiting for you to understand you through master communications of your teleportation, telegraphing, teleenergy, and telecommunication system. And the only way to do that is to go through all levels of telepathy, of telekinesis. All right. So, all right. So you guys are going through locations. All right. So we got the videograph streamline settings. You guys are set locations. So now you're coming into all levels of stuff. Dolores Cannon, ask for any questions. Hawkins, ask him any questions. Einstein and Tesla. Okay? Anything you want to know based on everything that's happened with you. Okay? What have you achieved? What is different before that you are now? How are things going to get better? You want things to get better. And that's what it is. It's waking up every single day and feeling better about yourself. Because if you're not feeling better about yourself, you have to find a way to change the anomaly. If you can't find a way to change your line position, location, your direction, or your thoughts, you're never going to see yourself in the future. Or your thought position, location, and direction. What is your direction? What is your observation? What is your intention? And you have to release these things, because if you don't release these things, you come into resistance. And if you come into resistance, you come into fear. And if you come into fear, you come into blocking. And if you come into blocking, you come into virus. And if you come into virus, you come into the new position location, line connections, back in line center, inner line rotations to its matrix calculation setting, into the lower division location of vibration. So there's a lot of things that can happen soon as you change your thoughts. Okay. Being aware of what you're doing is being aware of where you are in your central center communication, which is all levels of operation of future calculation setting. Okay. Truly understand how powerful you are is knowing you already. And this is coming into your memories. And that's what school provides. It's giving you a guidance so you can go beyond the recognition of anything through space of time. But you have to understand how to do it through a universe location, right? And that's the biggest thing. You have to receive these things. If I'm not well enough or anything worthy enough to bring something towards me, how am I going to receive everything if I look down the road? All line position location is a negative cycle. You can't look miles and miles and miles ahead of everything negative, because you're never going to see your universe come to you unless you let go and receive these things. It comes to you more and more. And that's how the energy line setting of track interference comes your position location of its videograph stream, which comes line setting to its heart reaction. Everything is reaction. Okay? Your avatar is the geometry, operation, direction, division, location of its dimension. Okay? All you're doing is set up your avatar in your computer setting to higher level division locations of travel. And the position of you, right, which is its line connection, what you integrate location, the avatar lines, the physical line communication, it truly understands the telepathy of what you're doing. Wow. I'm the avatar. I am position locations. I know what I'm doing now. I have balance because I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing because I'm already there. Okay. So these are the things you have to start looking at. And when you start looking at these things, you stop thinking. You start coming into the involvement. You start coming into the awareness. You come into the abundance. You come into manifestation. You come into your co-creation. You come into your realities of its division. All right. So it's a lot of things you have to adapt to positions when you come into the high setting. All right, so we got position location, infinity, 6, 7, and 8, scales, calculations, Nikki, line setting, Joe, position locations, Adam, line setting, Nova calculations, all levels. Let's get in line settings of Heather, or line conditional levels of Tina, Tina position locations of Gingy, Gingy position locations. Lauren, CC, all levels, setting line positions of Pam, Johnny, Sam, okay, Joanne, Belinda, all right, Nova, all right, calculations of Jill, line setting, Danny. All right, so if you guys are getting a better understanding the importance of you and all of its locations, it's keeping your vibrations high. That's all it is. You have to do everything that you can to keep them where they need to be. That's the only way you can understand any of that location, position, directions, and timeline setting. Geneva locations. All right. All right. Sammy, Don, Yolanda. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so how you guys doing so far? Okay. You got communication line settings. You got popcorn going on. Oh, that's good. Laughter is the best medicine. If you guys trying to find a distraction, always just find a way. This is easy to do. Find a way. Write down a goal. What does that goal mean to you? How do I achieve that goal? How do I get that goal? How do I understand what that goal is? It's all levels of thoughts. So when you write these things down, check it off. I got this, I got this, I got this. So frame. You're changing this, you're changing this, you're changing that. So every time you get up in the morning, you are changing something through your thoughts that getting what you want is all level of its future system of you. But you have to balance out your frequencies. You have to understand your energies. You have to understand your vibration. You really have to understand these things. Like you have vibration inside you. Can you understand what it is? What does it mean to you? How important is it to understand the vibration? Extremely, because that's what we live on. Okay, every single day, and that every single day is line position location, all timelines all at once, simultaneously. And that's one thing you guys have to get out of confusion locations. Get out of the 7-track line setting, get in position location into 1 o'clock location, which is more fun, right? The higher you through an acceleration line setting, the more you understand the videograph location of its video screen, right? Especially when we came into the line setting location of the test. You guys did exceptionally well, right? But that's just the beginning. Okay. This goes way beyond anything you can imagine. Okay. So it's kind of like seeing things way beyond and finally understanding what it is to all provision, right? So, and to get there is all levels of you. And once you understand the galaxies of you, now you're really high rise because your eyes change windows of cycles and spectrum light calculations and solar generation light spheres and so many levels that your eyes can change. Your eye perception changes as soon as it looks at the sun, as soon as it looks at the moon. These are the things you have to look at. It's all calculated through vibration, energies, and frequencies and harmonics. If you understand the chemistry of you, then you understand the direct location to its vibrations of you. Right? So it's like taking 7-track lines of vibration into one. Okay. We'll get into that position, location, directions. All right. All right. So at JP, line position locations. All right. All right. So in that position, so you got a 7-track line setting. Okay. Okay. So the 7 positions. Okay. So let's start off here. There's a vibration location, right? That looks like 1, but there's 7 there, right? Because I'm allowing it to see 7. You just see 1 vibrational graph, but I see 7. You see the difference? So there's 7 vibrations in here. Okay. There's 7, but you don't see 7, right? Because you're not at that level. So to understand the vibration is to understand the measure of communication, right? It's not this. Okay. This is what you're expecting. See, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is what you're expecting, right? No, it's all in one. 7 graph streams into one position of one direction. It's too confusing to read 7 graph streams in one sector location. It's too complicated. It's next to impossible. Okay? The energy line setting will understand the graph interference. It's too complicated to understand position, location, and directions, guys. Right? So if you have 7 graphs, how many line position of 0, 1s, and 2, and 3s, and 4s is going to be all confusion? You got 0 here, 1 here, 2 here, 2 here, 3 here, 4 here, 5 here, 6 here. Too confusing. Nothing's in order. Nothing's in order. So to get back in track setting, get back in the vibrational graph, get back in communication, the 0 ground line setting, get back into security and interference, get in position in your 12 DNA track locations, get into triangulation, position, location of directions, and you'll be okay in high setting calculation. Now, once you get this in all graph stream, it comes into triangulation. So to get this back in position, you got a triangulation line settings of 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 positions, equal line center locations, and 6, right? 6 line position, right? Starts line 1 setting. 6 equals 1 line, okay? Equals in communication, right? So it's really understand how you get 4 line settings in position location into 7 graph streams into triangulations in 4 communication setting. 4 equals 6 line connections back into correlation, right? Now, once it gets back in correlation, the line communication in triangles sets line tones. Now, it sets a line tone. Each triangulation changes its position of direction. And it starts off like this. Now, we got 4, right? Okay, so this is the vibration that is changing because I have it in triangulation, right? So it's all about taking this, 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 and this in direction. Now, once you get that in direction, the vibration comes together in one position to one location. See? Back in division. So all these triangulations is back in one signal, one rotation, one clocking, and a 7 graph stream, right? So that's 7 wires of communication back in location, right? You're not working with 7 graph streams. There's not 7-day week line setting and the 24 clocking. You guys got to get out of that. So to understand the timeline is to understand the vibrational line communication setting that sets its rotation spin cycle that sets line in rotation. So in that position, then you understand the voice. So every time you're communicating, you're setting up numbers, numbers, numbers. And sometimes they repeat, sometimes they repeat, sometimes they repeat. So if they repeat, if they repeat, either you're saying it right, either you're saying it right, or either you're saying it wrong, wrong, wrong. So getting out calculation is all levels of skip. So you're skipping vibration. You're skipping vibration. Understand your system. Understand your system. So this helps you out ways. This helps you out ways. So when you get in that position, why am I repeating? Why am I repeating? Because I'm locked. Because I'm locked. So how do I release? How do I release? Triangulation. So it's not just communicating with your line setting with the team lines when you get into triangulation locations in the triangle line setting, which is a female line connections, or anything the box location in position locations of male line setting. You just truly understand getting into triangulation is back in division line setting how to communicate the vibration location of 7 graph locations into one division. So this is back in one line setting. There's 7 graph streams there, but you just see one, right? So it's not what you see, it's what you don't understand. And when you don't understand these things, you understand more because now you're going beyond the mind. And when you go beyond the mind, you're going beyond everything that's circumference. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to get out of position locations and get to higher levels of discomfort. So it's all about recognizing all levels of your body and what it is and mechanism. Find the circumference locations of confusion to get out of line setting. Stop getting into resistance at all volume setting location. To understand how to set line positions to higher level division location and vibrational graph streams. Okay, that's the only way you're going to understand your position location to your actions to your vibrational connections, to your chakra system of your space times of pi. Okay? So there's a lot of things you have to understand, right? So we're going to be doing that in the new year. Okay? Because when you're starting to see things, you're not just seeing the hand formation line setting, you're seeing everything information of what it's doing in calculations, right? Everything that it does in all levels of one movement calculation setting. It's not just seeing this, it's seeing everything of what it is and what it can do through vibration of coloration. Okay? So that's where you guys have to really change your line settings and how you see yourself on all levels, right? Because this is going to help you in all ways to understand what your vibration is and what it means to you. You get in a relationship, but you have to break free from these. So it's kind of like you're reaching a higher level of your computing setting, and now you're getting into more discomfort levels. The more you get in discomfort, the more you release more levels of wire communication inside line connections of you, pushing buttons, and here and there, you know exactly what you're doing. But if you don't find a way to see yourself at a higher level, you're never going to see yourself in that position, right? So it's understanding how to create a thought. You already know how to create a thought, but where's the thought going? Now, the thought's going to go forward. That's great. But I decided that it's going to go back because I changed that. So if you decide to go back, you change your anomaly, space, and times of pi. So that's your position locations and what you just finished doing. It has nothing to do with anybody else. You did that on your own, right? So this is where you have to kind of like break free from all position locations to its line setting. That opens all communications to your chakra system. Your chakra system is waiting for you to understand the transmitting and receiving of its information. And once you understand that, you can understand the transponder of you, right? So these are the things that you have to come into. Once you come into that, you come into tronic view. Now, a tronic view, tronic view line settings, very powerful stuff locations. This is where you stay in the conscious line setting. Now, once you reach the subtronic line interference, it stays balanced. It's no longer in the conscious location. So you're no longer in the conscious line, right? So it's keeping the vibrations high in its center line interference. So it sets business location directions, phase structure location, right? This channels on all operation streams, right? So it's your locations. All right, so you got 1, 2, 3, right? Now, understanding the three line setting, you have your conscious, and you have your subconscious, and you have your superconscious, right? Conscious stays line position location to ground setting. It has one panel line setting. Now, position location, the subtronic line setting sets line position location into higher line setting interference. Now, the super of its consciousness comes together line rotations, but they travel position location of its line setting into flux capacitor, right? So the flux capacitor lines its connections, right, activates the stream setting. So if you stay above the system, above water, you're good to go. Or you're always going to find a way to tread yourself. And you can't breathe, right? So it's like you're trying to find surface. You're trying to find, trying to find to breathe. And if there's water here and you're trying to reach, but you keep putting yourself down. Every time you put yourself down, you're bringing yourself to a lower level dimension, right? So as long as you stay out of the conscious line setting and stay in the subtronic line interference, you have a better direct location to your superbus consciousness. Superbus consciousness comes in line communications to your computer. Now, your computer line center stays in position location line setting. Now, you can track down in position location superbus consciousness. You can track down in position of subtronic, but you can't go past position of all levels of a lower communication setting. You have to stay in position location of direction, right? Especially when you come into all of the fluctuation. Your fluctuation is everything through line setting. Your diameter, a diameter line setting sets line position location how you see yourself. That's going up and down. That's frequency. You have to understand what frequencies are. You have to understand what energy is. You have to understand the vibration. You have to understand the harmonics. That's all this is. So once you understand the avatar of space, time, once you understand the energies, how to use the energy through a shape, through vibration, frequency, harmonics, then you understand the travel locations in your space line communicates your position, location, directions to your future. Setting your intention. Your intention, what is your intention? Is to figure out how to get there, right? You focus on the journey, not the destination. The destination is a trap, okay? Because there's a lot of things that you're missing through space times a pie, here to here. So you want to go from here to here, but you don't want to know anything in between. That doesn't make any sense. You're missing everything that you're traveling through, right? So it's kind of like you wake up one morning and let's say you're 25 years old. And the next day you wake up and you put your thought line setting locations and now you're 30. So you missed 5 years of activation stream setting in position of your space and time, which is all levels of an open sequence, which all calculates and modifies all line connection of a spectral light, a division location of space of a whole calculations to a black hole, all through revision, right? So you missed 5 years of calculations through space and time. Isn't that amazing? So you're 25, the next day you're 30. That's 5 years of missing communication. Hooah. So now you understand the importance is not to worry about where you are. The one thing you worry about is what's happening now, not what you don't see, not what you don't understand the past. It's where you are now, okay, in the mind. Where's the mind set? So once the mind knows where it's set, things get a lot more easier, understandable. And that stands on its own connection to its calculation setting, guys. It's very powerful once you stay in the center operation of you. You are the operation to everything through calculations. You are the universe of you through space and time, through pi. Okay? That's what all this is. Right? So the more you understand your avatar, the more you understand the travel of your avatar. The more you understand the travel of the avatar, the more you understand the shapes of the avatar. The more you understand the numbers, the letters, the symbols, and its harmonics and how it works from you inside of calculation. It's getting body traction. So once you get that, then things start understanding more levels of you through travel. The mind sets a position of direction. That's a placebo cortex that sets line connections to your future line interference. It comes into mystical quartz, right? Now, mystical quartz is a line connected to your diamond core. Now, that reposition locations into high setting. That positions to your northwest, south, and east, right? So you always use north as a reference. So once you wake up to these high line communication, you come into their galaxy lines. And when you come into galaxy lines, you're no longer in a low division line interference. You stay at a certain level. Okay. So staying above the water is what you want. Okay. That's the most important thing. So it's the physical element trying to understand the space. And it's the avatar trying to understand the atmospheres of space. Do you understand the difference? The physical line is trying to understand the space. The avatar line is trying to understand the atmospheres of solar systems of space. So if you understand that, then you understand the importance. Okay? You are in position, location of direction to understand you and all levels of center operation, which is the now. Okay? It sets signals in all levels. Not only you'll see your future, but you become the future. You are the future of technology of yourself, which is calculated and modify, and how you see yourself in all calculation to your time of space that you co-created through your heart reactor. Your active reactor changes line communication to its computer reset line that opens up all anomalies to new space division over time. Now, when things change over time, everything starts connecting to higher levels of channel of operation inside of you. Not only you understand the vibrations, the energy grids, the energy line settings, or anything high hydraulic location, then you understand all position location high setting. You know exactly how many wires are in your formations. You know how many metal plates and panel line center interference. You know how to use your clocking line setting. You know how to use your code reading locations, your barcode line setting interference, your electrical light connections interference, your wire division locations, attachment, position location directions, your ecosystem location, position, your time frame line setting, your wire disposition line center interference location calculations, all levels of channel operation inside of you. Hooah. Now, that's your avatar. All through calculation. Time frequency, time code sets lines of spectrum like communication, right? The more you understand and see yourself as your avatar, the more you become the intelligence of its anomaly. Okay? It's very powerful when you come into that line connections, guys. All right. All right. So we're on 45 line setting, wait to line center interference, position locations, and bring you guys back. All right. You guys are back. Signal high center interference. Hope you guys had a fun time. I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Basically, get in position, location, and directions. Know exactly what you're doing. The more you understand your system, the more you understand the avatar and how it works for you, right? The more you understand you, the more you understand everybody else. So it's the how of operation things work. We're going to get more into master communications of yourself to really get into higher levels of travel so you can understand how to put yourself in more position locations to its geometric pattern. Okay, to truly understand how to travel through all levels. See, the avatar is just setting it up. Okay, the physical line center is just trying to understand what the avatar is doing. See, this is the position location where there's separation here. See, the physical system and the avatar can't be separated because it's you. So it's the mind alteration of where you see your system in position of future line conditions. So it's the mind alteration of change. And when you change the system line position, it changes all levels and how you see yourself in your physical element. Okay? Stands on its own of its own direct location to its division of your thought connections, guys. That's why it's so powerful with C line connections. All right? So that's what it is. And that's how all this works. It's the mind alteration of change, okay, that changes your calculations and how you see yourself through your consciousness. Okay? So, 2023. Woo! Yes. Happy New Year. Yes. So, hope you guys had a lot of fun. Hope you got the information that you needed. That Boris Cannon gave you, Hawkins gave you, Einstein, and Tesla, right? It is the last day, so enjoy it because we're coming into all levels. Now, in setting line communication, I don't say a new year because it's already done line setting. So why would I say that interference? You guys are coming into new year because you don't understand the central system of future calculations yet. You have to stay in the center every day through your thoughts. That's the most powerful thing that you set locations. You have to find a way to keep the vibrations and so many high letters of all calculations of everything you see yourself. Every thought, every communication, every angle, every point, every connection, all line setting, it's got to be everything that you calculate, modify through vibration. Keep that in all calculation into now line setting. You'll see yourself more in calculations to your future system. Okay? And that's what it is. Okay, I'm all provision. All right. All right. So I might chill out for a little bit on TikTok, but other than that, I have the rest of the day. I'm coming into my own New Year's Eve. So I want everybody have a wonderful year. Okay. So we'll be coming in line setting. School will start up obviously on Monday. All right. Everybody enjoy their day. Adios.